give you a brief overview of the MRC, and then my colleagues can talk about their areas of work. So MRC is a center for migrants, and as migrants we have a very broad definition. So we work with economic migrants, but we also work with refugees and asylum seekers. We have been doing this work since 1985, so it's many years. And of course, during the years we have developed a lot, we have grown a lot. So we have 2 offices. This is our main office, but we also have another premises in North Westminster. So in North Westminster we mainly do legal advice, and here we do health, we do community education and employment, we have a nursery, and we also, yes, so community education, yes, so media, thank you, yes. And we do media. So I will explain in more detail all the different areas. So of course, if you have questions, because this is going to be more or less, a really meeting where we can interact and you can ask questions. So as I said, we have 5 main areas of work. And through the different projects and services that we have, we aim to address the needs of either newcomers or people who have been here many years but still finding it difficult to find a place or to find a better job or to find themselves fully satisfied. So we, in the organization, we have about 19 employees. And we all come from different backgrounds, so you can hear my accent. I mean, don't speak a perfect English myself. So we, in a way, can relate very well with our users, and they can relate to us. So this is, I think, one of our first maybe strengths, that in the organization we speak many languages. So we can very often speak with our users using their mother tongue, or when this is not possible, we use volunteers who either speak their language, or we also use volunteer interpreters. So we, apart from the staff members, we also have about 40 volunteers. So, and this is again another strength, that we couldn't really do what we do without the help of our volunteers. And they work in different capacities, helping us in all the different projects we have. So the premise is not really big, so later I will show you around, but there is not really much to see. So it will be a very quick tour, and maybe we will have to go into rounds. But in a way, we really know how to use the space as much as possible, so we maximize all the resources very well. So this is a place which we use, of course, for meetings, but it's mainly a classroom, as well as all the other rooms we have. They can be office during the day, and then places for mentoring sessions or for meetings in the evenings. So we, of course, depending on the space available, our classes are either for between 4 up to 15 students, not more, because just there is no capacity. But we're also lucky to work with other organizations, so very often we run projects and activities in other organizations. So for example, we work in collaboration with a private English school, not very far from here, and we are able then to really offer classes in a better classroom environment for our users, also at a time when here all the classrooms are busy. But we also work in collaboration with other organizations, so very often we start projects, and the projects, depending on the type of activities, they take place here or they take place there. So before I can explain, because I didn't say my name, so I'm Laura, sorry, and I manage the Education and Employment Service, which is one of the main areas of our work. But also we have Silvia from the Health Project. Unfortunately, we don't have Sarah from the Media Empowerment Project, but we can tell you a little bit more about it. So maybe they can, Bianca works on the employability service, so maybe they can tell you a little bit about their work, and then I can tell you more about the rest.
So, my name is Bianca. I work as a learning employment advisor as a part of the Community Education and Employment Project. So, I give advice on employment and learning opportunities. And usually, so it's a one-to-one advice session, and customers come, usually they come to register a specific day where we assess them to understand their needs, and so to refer them to different services. Can be English classes, can be computer classes, or other needs. But as part of the employability, we also have activities like drop-in session, like job search support group, where people can attend once they are registered with us. They can go and they can be helped in job search or in a CV, to develop a CV. And then we have other activities, but then Laura will tell you about it. We are funded by National Career Service, which is a national service funded by one of the departments of the government, and to help adults progress in their own career. This is just one, this is the way that we are funded, but we see everyone. I mean, everyone who comes to ask for advice session.
So as Laura has introduced me, I'm Sylvia, and I work on a health inclusion project which is funded by the Westminster Public Health. This project is mainly about educating or empowering migrants, refugees and asylum seekers in terms of accessing health services. So my main role is to explain what the rights the clients that come to me they have, what their entitlements to health are. So for example, a big part of my job is to tell my clients how to register with doctors, how to find dentists, where to go if they are not happy with a service, or if they are happy and they want to share that comment. I also organize health workshops. I work with statutory and other organizations related to health services. At Migrants Research Center we have yoga class, weekly yoga class, and this is organized in partnership with the Westminster Health Improvement Team. So this yoga class is delivered by one of the NHS staff members, free of charge, which is great. We also have at the moment drama therapy sessions, and this workshop is delivered by a student who is doing the replacement with the Westminster Mind, which is another charity that delivers projects in order to improve people's mental health by counseling, by different health workshops. So this student also wanted to have an insight to our clients, and hence offering the workshop one-to-one. There's one-to-one session and also group sessions. I think that's basically it.
It's a lot.
So in terms of the other activities that we run, as I mentioned, I may have mentioned earlier, we run English classes. So our classes take place in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evenings, and they are run by professional and qualified volunteers. So the levels will be from a starter level, so for people with no English at all, up to upper intermediate. And we also have a class for preparation for IELTS, which is a test that people have to pass if they want to go on studying at university, etc. We also work with the Westminster Adult Education Service, which is a local college. So they come here twice a week to offer classes to our users. And we also run a class on a Saturday in their premises. We also run computer classes, and again, the computer classes are taught by volunteers. The volunteers will have different language, but also professional skills. And we mainly use the Go On website, which is part of the UK Online Centres. So it's at national level, it's a way to make people more digital included. So the different modules will go from very basic information, even on how to hold the mouse or how to switch on and off a computer, up to even how to shop safely on internet, how to use Facebook safely, etc.
Excuse me, do you get that for free? So free these courses?
We are part of UK Online Centre, yes. So you can, everybody can use their modules on the website, but we are one of the partner organizations. In the past, we used to get funding from them, but unfortunately they have changed their funding criteria. So now we are, in a way, still using their services as a partner organization with our code, but we are not receiving any funding from them.
People get a qualification.
They don't really get a qualification, but once they complete a module, they get a certificate, which is really good also for their self-esteem and their confidence in a way. So it's worth looking at it, thinking about computer classes. And then in terms of the other educational activities, they vary a lot depending on either what our users suggest or what we manage to organize together with other organizations. So for example, we are still working on a forum theatre project with the Serpentine Gallery. But also we are now organizing workshops with the Westminster City Archives on using paper creatively and creating notebooks and also collage and cards, etc. So, but we have also worked with the Tate, with the Transport Museum. We run creative writing workshops with a literary organization called English Pen. So we are very lucky to be able to really work in collaboration with very important organizations. But as I also mentioned, we are very flexible in the way we develop our timetable. So very often our users tell us what they would like to see developed. They give us suggestions, and then if we have a volunteer available or we try to find a volunteer who can then offer and teach that class. But also sometimes they become volunteers. So this is very important for us because we don't only want people to be recipients of our support, but it has to be a two-way process. So very often you have users who become volunteers, who start their own projects, who become involved in the different activities and services we have. And then in the past we've had some situations where they become even staff members of the organization. So it's a very, as I said, two-way process, and it's quite interesting because they could be students in one class, or they could be mentee for one project, but then they are mentor and they are teacher in another activity. So there is really a sense of feeling part of the organization and feeling that they can also give and they can contribute to the well-being of other users who may be in the same situation or may face the same kind of issues. The other projects we didn't really talk in detail were the media project. So the media project is working on the production of a quarterly online magazine called The New Londoners. We have just now launched our edition for Refugee Week. So maybe if you're interested, you can either find it on our website, hopefully, or if you don't find it, if you don't find it, I can then send it to publisher and he can then forward it to you. But we are also working on a number of European projects, and very often European projects will be around either producing tools or working what else? And the legal advice team, of course, the legal advice team, we basically offer a kind of gateway service to all our users, but unfortunately due to the restrictions in funding, we then have to assess through the gateway whether we are able to assist everybody or not. So if we're not able to assist, then we refer people to other services, although unfortunately nowadays there are not so many places where to refer people. So in terms of our legal advice team, we're really doing our best, and we are very lucky to be able to continue to offer a service, but the situation is not really good.
So because before everyone who has like the legal problem used to have like a free advice.
Legal aid,
It's
yeah.
called legal aid here, but now they changed it and it's will only free for domestic violence or
Yes.
only for that reason will be free, and then like financial or immigration people needs to pay themselves. So it's really changing now. Asylum is still free, no? Or
Yes, so the part of asylum, domestic violence, and I think something else as well.
they're thinking about changing everything. So before people used to have like free legal aid, free advice, and now it's not the case.
But also in terms of English classes, before there were more organization offering English
Yes,
classes.
in terms of referral, the options are really, yes.
Yeah, since the last 3-4 years, a lot of similar organizations to Praxis, they are closing down, so it's not many people to refer.
We are facing the same problem in our region. Many organizations are closing down, support organizations, because the funding cuts were very, very high, and they just can't survive. And so we lost lots of service points in this area.
But maybe Laura hasn't underlined that all services like computer classes and English classes are not funded.
Yes,
So far. So
yes, so basically we have really, that's why I said we couldn't really do what we do without the support of our volunteers, but also we took a decision as an organization to just continue with the activities even if they were not funded, just because we understood that this is really a priority. So for people who are new to London, or it's very important to receive not only one support, but in a way the different support. So because of course if it's a vicious cycle, so if you don't speak the language, then you cannot really think about accessing services, or you don't know how to access services, you don't know how things work in this country. If you don't know, then you feel even more vulnerable, or you feel not able to be independent, and then this will affect your health, and then so it's really, everything is so connected. And also in terms of what Bianca does with the employability project is that is trying to help people find the job that they really want, and also the job that they are qualified for. Because very often we among our users, we have people with different skills, with different qualifications, different backgrounds. So we may have people who were not literate in their own countries, but we also may have people with high qualifications and professional experiences back home. So what we want is really to help them understand what they can do in the UK, what their ideal job is, and then how they can step by step try to work on a plan to achieve this goal. So of course, if very often our users would be in doing cleaning jobs or working in a kitchen, working in a restaurant, there is nothing wrong about it, of course. But if you were a teacher in your country, or if your aspiration was to do something else, after 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, and you get stuck in that cycle, then also your mental health will be affected, because you don't really feel good about yourself. So our role is then to help them understand what skills they need to acquire, what kind of experience they need to do in able for them to really achieve their ideal situation.
But English classes are, are the basic.
Computer, claro.
Yeah.
So this is what really people need.
No,
I don't know about
yeah.
taxis, how.
Yes. What's your clients' nationalities? Because we are coming from East London. We have a lot of Bangladeshi, Somali. I'm assuming here must be a bit different.
I mean, here the newcomers very often are from nowadays
Yes.
are from a Spanish
Yeah.
background.
Yeah,
So they could be either Latin American, Spanish, or even people who were migrants in Spain and then migrated to UK. So like
Same for us
African,
now, like Spanish or Latin Americans from Spain.
yes, from Spain, but also migrants like people from Romania or people from African background.
Anche through Spain.
To Spain,
Mhm.
yeah, so who were
So
migrants
many,
there,
yeah,
and
so
then
many.
Yeah, because Spain is one of the gateways of the migrants. Yeah. Especially from South America, definitely is the
Yeah,
gateway.
yeah. But that was even before. But now,
No.
Now it's-
the number has increased.
I think
Mhm.
Bianca mentioned that we have assessment every week,
Yeah.
and I think in the assessment the majority is really people who speak either Spanish, Italian, or Portuguese.
Mhm.
But then our regular users would be people from all over the world.
Mhm.
I don't know if Sylvia you have a different.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
That's,
This is the impact of the crisis.
Yeah.
People are fleeing the country. So,
So I think the people who come mainly from Italy, but also Spain, these people, either people who are, I don't know, what do you think, Bianca? But I think it's either people who have just finished university and cannot really find any
A
job in
job,
their country, so
yeah.
they come here with qualifications but no work experience.
yes.
Or we have people who leave their families back home
Mhm.
and or maybe have sold their businesses, have left everything to start again, thinking and hoping that in UK things would be different.
But this is more from Spain.
From
This is
Spain.
Not from
Yeah.
Italy. It's
No,
from
not from
Spain.
Yeah.
From Spain.
Yeah.
It's,
Because the situation in Spain is harder, much harder than in
Yeah.
Italy. Italy, I think Italy is still.
it's always been crisis.
Yeah.
So we are able to. Yeah, especially in the south.
But I think that in Italy the impact was not so hard so far. In Spain, we are in the middle of the hurricane right now. It's 50% of the young workforce are unemployed. 50% is something completely out of control. No wonder, no wonder.
But also because this organization, as Laura said, was founded so many years by a group of refugees from South America. So even in the past years, they used to come because they knew the service, and also they come because they know that people speak Spanish. We
right.
speak Italian with Spanish accent, but they understand.
Yeah.
So I
No problem at all.
they understand. So yeah.
That's fine.
So they were from Chile, or it was from South America? From which country? Chile, Colombia?
Countries, Ecuador,
Colombia.
Bolivia, all countries, yeah.
Mm.
Not many from Venezuela, I mean, yeah, Ecuador, Bolivia, Peru, Chile.
This is because Maduro doesn't allow them to leave the country.
So do I understand it right that you don't make any difference between EU resident or non-EU people in terms of your support you offer? Even, I don't know, strange question, isn't it?
No, it's not a strange question.
Because I'm asking because of the funding, because our experience is that very often funding is either for third nationals or for EU, and you can't always mix it, so you can't do it. So what's your experience?
So, for example, for the National Career Service, we have to respect eligibility criteria. So people have to be able to have recourse to public funds.
Yeah.
So if they don't have recourse to public funds, they cannot access the service. But then we have made a choice that then internally, when the advisor speaks with the client and understands the client's background, then we decide whether to put this person into the National Career Service program or just do a session using our own papers, our own forms. So and we do this also because we don't want people to feel different. So we are still providing the same service, but then internally we know where people can go and whether we can put this person for a certain scheme or not. Of course, financially it's not really good for us because very often we have either people are not eligible or people have already been seen by other organizations, and there is a limit of how many sessions these people can have. So some organizations refer people to us only when they've completed the sessions that we could do. So then when people come to us, we cannot really claim for the session. So this is not really nice, but in a way it's not the fault of the client. So we still want to provide a service. So we always work with this kind of finding a compromise or finding a balance between the fact that we have to earn money to be able to be sustainable and to be able to continue, but at the same time we don't want to limit our services to users, or we don't want to make any big distinctions.
And for example, when they come to the assessment to register, to come to register to the center, we don't ask documents. And I think that's why people come. I mean, they feel that they can have access to, And also they usually come to mainly because they know that the center offers free English classes, and I think the strength, it's a positive point of the assessment. They find out all the services, like for example Sylvia and the health projects, that they can understand. And because I don't know if you said in terms of you can also support them in finding GP surgery, where they can find someone who speaks their own language, because sometimes they don't know.
They don't know exactly.
That reminded me actually, I forgot to mention about well-being support service, where we have trained volunteers who speak. We have 5 different languages. We have Spanish, we have Latvian, Russian, and 2 languages from Africa. Amharic and Oromo. So, for example, if the client doesn't speak any English, and as we have said, most of the time they speak Spanish, we have Spanish-speaking volunteers who can go with them, for example, to a GP surgery and make this initial contact with the receptionist with the surgery to make them register, and also to explain to them what their rights are, so they are not confused. They know what they can expect and what they can ask for. So this is a very good project that we can rely on. And the other thing is, which I forgot to mention, is the counseling sessions we have here.
This is cool.
And we have a lovely lady from, she's Italian, but she's being qualified. Well, she's going through her training, and she offers 2 hours of her precious time to work and clients can access more qualified professional support, emotional support. Yeah, and also we work very closely between each other. So Laura, Bianca, and the other career advisors, they refer people to my project, and likewise I do.
Do the same the other way.
International life coaching.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so
Really?
No, because it's we do a lot of things.
Yeah, we have a professional life coach who also offers life coaching sessions to our users. So very often from the career advice sessions, when we find out that the person needs a little bit of more support in general terms, thinking about the work-life balance and thinking about what their priorities are in life, etc., we refer them into the life coach.
Oh, look at it. This is excellent.
And we also have a mentoring project. So we don't have many mentors at the moment, but we have some mentors who are working on a one-to-one basis with people, either around their literacy needs, but also around their professional needs. So, for example, we have paired an engineer working in UK with an engineer from Colombia who is finding it very difficult to find a job in his field. So by doing that, then they can really share a lot of experiences, and the mentor can really give some tips and contacts, and can really help the person find their way into the sector.
And
So I don't know if you have any questions or...
yeah, I have one. In relation, for instance, along the implementation of all the projects that we have, in relation to training your staff, do you have some training planning for your staff internally, or do you hire, or your staff and volunteers learn from the others? How do you tackle this question of training your staff internally to provide the service?
Yeah, so maybe I can start and then you can help me. So because we have different areas of work, it really depends on the area of work, it depends on the qualification required to do that job, and it depends on the funding available. So I wouldn't say that as an organization we have a training plan for all the staff. It's more ad hoc, and it's more done in an informal way based on the needs of either volunteers or staff members. So for the National Career Service, it's more structured because the advisors have to have a certain qualification, so they have to have at least diploma level 4 in career advice. And then, is it called career advice? Yes.
No, it's diploma in career
Diploma
advice.
Career advice, and then and then also the organization who is the prime contractor for the National Career Service has a training plan, so all the advisors can then decide to go to trainings as they see fit. But then for our volunteers, for example, for the ESOL volunteers, because we don't have an ESOL coordinator, so I organize the classes and I am responsible for the teachers, but of course, as you can hear from my English, I'm not a teacher myself, so I wouldn't really be able to support them with their training needs. So I often organize meetings, but then I also ask them to do internal observations. So we have a more qualified teacher who has been with us longer, who can then observe the new teachers and see how they do, as well as when a new teacher starts, the new teacher will first be in class with an experienced teacher, and then will be left alone. So I don't know if I answered your question.
Yes, yes.
We don't have a training plan. For example, when we have, for example, a life coach, she sometimes offers to run some trainings for us, or if we see that we need to talk about something specific. For example, we need to understand more about the labor market or the immigration rules. We try to see within the expertise of our staff if we can organize a meeting or a training on that particular area. But then I don't know.
In terms of the health project, it's one man project.
One woman project. Yeah.
But because NHS has gone through huge changes since 1948, so it was my responsibility to really get into details. So I would just myself, I would find information and go to the trainings where I could find the information necessary for my job to fulfill, for the post to be fulfilled. But also with the supervisor, she would ask, what do you think? You know, what's there? What do you think you want to improve for? So, yeah, that's possible.
All right.
Do we have questions? So because your organizations are slightly a mix.